Hello, friends, and welcome back to Malicious Compliance Stories. Let's start this video with a story about the car deal that went off the rails the moment OP checked their bank account. But before we begin, best way to support our channel is to leave comments, like, and subscribe with the turned-on bell so you don't miss the new video every single day. Here we go. Your account is negative. How's this going to work? Back when I used to sell cars, I saw all kinds of customers walk through the doors, some with their act together and some not so much. This one particular encounter still stands out in my mind because of how quickly things unraveled once the truth came out. A couple came into the dealership looking for a car. Nothing fancy, just something reliable. We went through the usual process, test drives, narrowing down options, talking about features. After a bit of back and forth, we landed them on a vehicle that checked all their boxes. We even managed to get them approved for financing at $600 a month. That's no small payment, but they seemed confident and eager. There was just one catch. The car they wanted wasn't on our lot. It was sitting at one of our sister stores across the state. No problem, we said. We'd arranged to have it trucked over. The cost to do that, about $400. Now, normally we'd ask the customer to cover that, but my manager, trying to close the deal, said he was willing to eat that cost on one condition: they'd need to leave a $500 deposit. That way, if they backed out, we'd at least recoup the $400 shipping fee and they'd forfeit the rest. They agreed immediately, no hesitation. They were excited. The car was exactly what they wanted, and the payment plan had been worked out. It seemed like we were heading for a smooth finish. That's when things got interesting. We swiped their card for the $500 deposit. Declined. Okay, maybe a fluke, it happens. We try again. Declined. We try another card. Declined. A third card, same result. By this point, the couple is starting to get flustered, swearing up and down that they have the funds. We just got paid yesterday, the guy insists. There's no way we don't have it. I'm trying to keep things calm and professional, so I suggest an alternative. Hey, no worries, I tell them. If you don't have a card that's working, we can do a check. You can write us one for the deposit. But of course, they don't have a checkbook on them. Who does anymore? So I offer another option. No big deal. Why don't we just log into your bank account real quick? I can grab your routing and account numbers and process the payment that way. They agree. I'm thinking maybe it really was just a card issue. Maybe the bank flagged it as fraud. Maybe they hit a limit. Who knows? We pull up the account. That's when the whole story changes. Their checking account is sitting at a negative balance. Not just a few bucks overdrawn, minus $300. And their savings, a grand total of 52 cents. Not $52, 52 cents. I'm sitting there staring at the screen, trying to think of how to handle this tactfully, while my manager comes over because by now he can see that something's off. I give him the quick rundown, and he doesn't sugarcoat things. The deal's done, he says flatly. He explains that our lender would tear us apart if we pushed this through. First payment repos are a nightmare. Big trouble for the dealership, bad mark from the books, bad relationship with the finance company. It's just not worth it. But the couple isn't ready to give up. They're still trying to plead their case, still insisting they'll be able to make the payments. That's when I overhear my manager, who's usually pretty patient, say something that sticks with me to this day. He looks at them and says, your payment is $600 a month plus insurance. You have a negative balance and payday was yesterday. How exactly do you think this is going to work? It was brutal, but honest. There was no way this was going to end well. We weren't about to ship a car across the state, take a bath on the transport fee, and set up a deal that was doomed from the start. After that, the couple left, embarrassed and empty-handed. I almost felt bad for them. Almost. But at the end of the day, buying a car is a huge financial commitment, and you need to have at least the basics in order. It's one of those situations that reminds you just how important it is to look beyond the excitement of closing a deal and make sure it's actually viable for everyone involved. Sometimes the hardest part of the job wasn't selling the car, it was saying no when you knew the sale just didn't make sense. It's a tough lesson, but an important one. In sales, sometimes the right call isn't pushing the deal through, it's walking away before it blows up in everyone's faces. And judging by their reaction, this wasn't the first or last time they'd run into this problem. And our second story. Karen mistakes me for a Target employee, threatens to call the police. few years back, I worked as a police dispatcher. We were required to dress in business casual, so khakis and a button-down or polo. I'm assuming you've read the title and see where this is going. So after work one day, the girlfriend and I stopped by Target on the way home to grab a few things. I'm wearing, you guessed it, a red polo with khaki pants. I also have an ID badge on my belt denoting Communicator, Joe Schmo, Police Department. Grabbed some olive oil brought to my girlfriend who told me she got some a few days ago, so I go back to olive oil aisle and put it back. I put it back in its proper place because I'm not an inconsiderate a-hole. Anywho, lady comes up to me and asks where she can find some brand dog food. I just thought she was asking for my opinion, gave her a general direction. She went off. Like 5 minutes later, I'm looking at Harry's razors and I feel someone poke me on the shoulder. I turn and find the lady standing there looking displeased. Lady, my dog food wasn't where you said it was. Me, well, I don't know. I guess ask someone who works here. Lady, I am. You. Me, nope, don't work here. Turns and looks away. Yes, you do. You were stocking shelves. Me, yeah, don't talk to me. Lady grabs my arms and pulls me to face her. You ever get a sudden flare of anger? I did. B touched me. Lady, young man, I'm a customer and you'd better... Me, don't you effing touch me. My voice was a little raised now. Touch me again, you and I are going to have a problem. She was obviously taken aback. She said something about me being fired and a manager. She scurried away. I found my girlfriend and we went to check out. At this point, it still hadn't really clicked that she thought I worked there. I just thought she was rude. We get to the self-checkout, and lady with the Target employee approached me and my girlfriend. Lady, that's him. That's your stock boy who threatened me. Me, WTF, I don't work here, lady. Leave me the F alone. Manager, looking nonplussed. You don't work here. Me, nope. This chick started bothering me, then grabbed me. GF, he doesn't work here. Lady, don't you lie to me. You were stocking shelves and told me where to get dog food. Me, leave me alone or we're going to have real problems. Lady, how about I call the police and tell them how you just threatened me? Me, I effing dare you. I show her my ID badge. Let's see how that works out for you. I should mention the PD I worked for is in the same town as Target. The manager takes the opportunity and just says, have a nice evening, and motions the woman away, and she follows. She just sort of gaped at me while she saw that I was in fact not an employee of Target, but of the police department she was going to call on me. Not a big story with fireworks, but still one to tell. I don't understand why people just assume people are lying when they say I don't work here. What does an employee gain by lying? And our last story. And our next story. Once a bartender, always a bartender. As per the title, worked in various hospitality roles from busboy to management, but the best fun was always bartending. I haven't got the patience for it anymore and have been out of the game for some 15 years. But whenever I'm out, I always take the empties back to the bar, and unless the service is terrible, I always tip. It's one of the few things I still carry cash for. So a few weeks ago, I was in a bar I've gone to for years, just not too often these days. A few staff and management know me, and it's a place where they just wear clean, casual gear to work, no set uniform. It's my round, and I lift 3 empty glasses and an empty bottle off our table and take them up to the bar. The manager, an old workmate of mine from years ago who's helping the bartender, nods the knowing, another round nod? I nod back. And then out of nowhere, I get the Karen tap on the shoulder. Excuse me, where's the ladies' room? I can never help myself here. I've always been a cheeky B-turd, and my first response is one of 2 options. Over there, just follow your nose, or, sorry, no idea, I've never used the ladies' room. Is that supposed to be funny? That's no way for staff to speak to a customer. Hey, look, I was just joking. I'm not staff, by the way. It's over there next to the... What do you mean you're not staff? Why are you clearing tables then? I always bring the empties back. Once a bartender, always a bartender. If you're a bartender, you should be making drinks, not making stupid jokes. Look, I'm sorry. Seems I've confused you. The toilets are just over there, and I don't work here. What's your problem? Get me the manager, now. Cue my manager friend behind the bar as he props the drinks on the bar. Hey, OP, this round's on me. Now, ma'am, you were asking for a manager? The best part is when she demands the manager only for your old bartending buddy to slide in with a free round for you while completely ignoring her tantrum. That's the kind of instant karma we all love to see. You didn't even have to argue. Your manager friend handled it with the perfect mix of professionalism and subtle shade. She told me to mind my own business after illegally expanding her yard. My Uncle Mike had just moved into a retirement community that bordered a county nature preserve. His lot was small, but he didn't mind at all. He loved having an unobstructed view of the trees and wildlife. What did catch his eye, though, was that his new neighbor, Karen, seemed to have quite the backyard. Karen's yard stretched a good 8 feet further back than his did, giving her space for a patio set and even a little fire pit. Mike, being a friendly sort, made an effort to introduce himself to everyone when he moved in. He swapped phone numbers and had short chats with the neighbors. One afternoon, he noticed Karen working out back. She was laying down expensive pavers, building out a huge patio that stretched from her house all the way to a line of old wooden posts marking the preserve boundary. But then Mike watched as Karen yanked the posts out, moving them 2 feet deeper into the preserve, and started prepping the newly claimed ground for more pavers. Mike used to work for the National Park Service when he was younger, so he knew this was a big no-no. Wanting to be neighborly, he wandered out back to give Karen a heads up about the trouble she could be stirring up. But before he could get a word out, Karen turned on him. "You're new here," she snapped, not even looking up from her work. "I've been here over a decade. Mind your own damn business." Mike decided fine, he'd take her advice. That year passed without incident, but the following summer, when most of the snowbirds had left, the county came around for a routine inspection of the preserve. Mike watched as workers kept pacing behind Karen's house, pulling out maps, taking photos, and making calls. Pretty soon, more trucks rolled up. Turns out Karen had been shifting those fence posts for years, slowly claiming more and more land that didn't belong to her. In fact, her real property line was even further forward than Mike's. To make it worse, Karen had parked her golf cart and her cherry red sports car on that back patio for the summer. The county wasn't having it. They posted a notice on her front door. She had 30 days to move the vehicles, tear out the pavers, and pay an $11,000 fine for encroaching on protected land and damaging habitats. If she didn't, they'd tow the vehicles, rip out the patio at her expense, and tack on daily penalties. Well, Karen didn't show up for the summer deadline, so a week after the 30 days passed, Mike had front row seats to quite a show. The county came out and towed the sports car and golf cart. Crews dug up and hauled off all the pavers. They replaced the flimsy old posts with steel ones sunk into concrete, strung together with thick cables. Solar cameras went up so the county could keep an eye on both the wildlife and any future trespassers. By November, Karen finally came back for the winter season along with the other snowbirds. Mike watched from his window as she tore through the stack of county notices taped to her door, her face turning redder by the second. She ran out back, saw the empty lot where her patio and car used to be, and let loose a string of curses loud enough to wake the dead. Then she bolted to her car for her phone and started shouting at anyone at the county who'd answer. Mike could hear her on speaker demanding to know where her property had gone and how she could get her car and cart back. The more she yelled, the more she got transferred to other departments. No one wanted to deal with that. A few days later, Karen spotted Mike out front. She stormed over and hissed, "Were you here when they stole my car and tore up my yard?" Mike, ever calm, nodded. "Yep, I saw the whole thing." "So why didn't you call me? You had my number up north," she barked. Mike just smiled. "I thought about it, but then I figured you'd rather I mind my own damn business." And with that, he went back inside, leaving Karen fuming on the sidewalk. I loved how Mike perfectly relayed her own words to her. Some lessons can only be learned the hard way. And Karen got a crash course in why you don't mess with protected land. The steel posts and cameras ensure she won't try it again, and Mike gets to enjoy the view, undisturbed. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.